Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be having a look through another 100 or so from the recent vintage penguin haul that I got a couple of weeks back. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Today we're going to be looking at penguins 601 up to number 700, and I'm pretty confident we got the whole lot here to do. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so yes, the next 100 in the list. So we'll just go along and get these done as we have been doing it in the past. I must say apologies last time. I was having some small microphone issues, which I'm hoping I've alleviated this time round. And that one's actually a pretty nice copy of that one, so that's all good. So they do vary. So if you remember, quite a few had some tape. This one's actually got Magi tape on, so I don't want to interfere with that, but that bottom bit there is going to need gluing, so we'll just do the basic insides first of all. I don't know what that is. Got a little 5p there. Right, so that just needs some glue. Now once again, I'm using my bookbinder's glue, which I do find really good. When it dries clear, and as time's going on, I'm getting better at judging where to put my blobs of glue to have the best effect, because it does squidge out a little bit when you put it in, because it's like in this liquid form, you know. This one's slightly 2-ply, but hopefully by now you've seen on my main channel the story of this collection, where they came from, where they've been stored, and you've seen just how many I've now got to actually clean. And there really is a lot, isn't there? But that is in no way a bad thing, because although all the books, you know, I've got a complete run from I've got the first 1,000 complete now. I've got the whole lot. It's still nice to go through these, and I said to the seller, the seller's grandson rather, of the original collector, I said that I give him a hand selling these ones on his behalf, because obviously I know lots and lots of penguin collectors who might be interested in some of these, and whatever we don't sell leading up to September, but between now and September basically, can just go along to the Penguin Collectors Fair, and they can be hopefully sold along there, as long as the price is right. People will buy these books in any condition. There are lots of people who don't want tip-top shape. They just want the books as complete copies that they can read. And I can really sympathise with that, because I've been reading so many penguin books lately. I've just been loving them. They're just so great to hold in the hand, you know. And I think that's always been the way with me in penguin books, really. And I go through phases where I just, I want to read loads of science fiction, or I want to read some classic crime. And I have been reading quite a bit of classic crime lately. But I have also been reading Penguin #1, which is Ariel. I've been reading that one lately. And that's been a revelation, that book, I've got to say. Lovely. Yeah, perhaps not the best condition Agatha Christie book, but it is Agatha after all. So after the last video, I had to go back up to Glossop, which is near Manchester, to get the second half of the collection. at least the second half that I was buying. So I've basically done 2 carloads worth of stuff, and I've now got everything back, and it's all been sorted out into their respective like hundreds, and it just all needs processing. So I've got so many videos to do where I need to clean the books up. But these earlier ones that we're doing now are going to take far longer than the later ones. So the later ones I do envisage, and because the runs aren't as complete, so I think what we've got here is every single book in the between 600 and 700. I think it's complete. But later runs are not so complete. Not every book got published in the UK, for example. There are some that were just American, which aren't included. There were just a few gaps in the collection. Alan, the original owner, didn't get absolutely everything. He's got an awful lot, but he didn't get absolutely everything. But he did get a lot. And this one's got some quite excessive taping. Let's see if it comes off easily or not. And it doesn't. So that one I'm just going to leave taped up. It's a crossword book, so they never turn up in very nice condition, similar to this one in actual fact. Crossword books just don't tend to have survived in the same sort of condition as you might as a regular book. I guess because they've been used for what they are, which is puzzle books, aren't they? You know. I was never that good at crosswords, I have to say. I loved word searches, but crosswords were a different breed, and I've never been that good at it. I suppose nowadays there's so many different puzzles that someone could have a stab at. But this is pretty much typical of your average crossword book in a bit of a state, in all honesty. But because they're rare, someone will have this in pretty much any condition. But, you know, you're only going to put maybe, I don't know, a £5 on that, something like that. You wouldn't want to put any more on it. So I think the thing that's going to be the story with these is just going to have to accept that some of the books are going to be in slightly lower grade. But as a whole, I think the collection is definitely, well, it is from a collector. So there's no absolute dogs in the entire collection that I've come across. I think maybe there was 1 or 2 which had like complete spines sellotaped up, and that's obviously quite distracting. But at the time, those books wouldn't have looked too bad with that bit of tape put on them, you know. Look at that, 20 PTAS, but is that 20 pesetas? Oh, now that's interesting. I know, sorry, I thought for a moment it was like an Australian copy or something like that, but he's not. Actually got another bit of tape on the top here. There were specific Australian editions. I don't think I've got any of them. They did a lot of crime ones in the 1940s. Lothian, I think, is the printers, and they're slightly different dimensions to the British ones, you know. This has got a little name inside, Bath, or date and place rather. So that's okay. One thing I have noticed, every single book, right up to the recent ones in the collection, they've all been first Penguin printings. So evidently Alan, the collector, has really taken his time to get the first printings of these. There is only one, which actually it may be in this 100 actually. It's called Gryle Grange. And as far as we know, that one only exists as a second printing, not a first. So it'll be interesting to see if that one's actually in here. if Alan knew about that one only existing as a second print at the time, because it may be that he then ended up not buying it at all, because he kept coming across the second print. No one really knows why, but I suspect that there was a problem with the first printing and it got pulled, or that it was marked as a reprint by mistake. And there never was a first printing ever produced. That's probably the most likely scenario, in my opinion, anyway. Nice one. Bit of pen on the side there. But yeah, so if by now you've not had a look at the story of this collection over on my main channel, do please check it out, because I think you'll really enjoy it. It's like just a little, well, how long is it? It's about half an hour. It's like a little travel vlog, where I went up on the 2 trips with my friend Rob from work, and also I went up on the second trip with my son Sam, and they were both very helpful to have them along, because they gave me a hand to stay awake, for starters. On the way back, on the second time round, we did get caught in some very bad traffic, but these things happen. I just noticed there were 2 copies of that book there. Commando. My rubber is going to need a bit of repair work, I think, in a while. Be alright for today, but I'm going to cut that down, I think. So obviously, like last time, once we've been through them and cleaned them as best we can, I'm going to need to give them the brush off. These, sadly, because of their age, they cannot be polished, so I can't get the tape residue off as nice as I'd like to, and I should have more success with the tape residue on the later books, because, as I said, they will, in a lot of cases, have a laminated cover, which can be, of course, polished. But not these ones. So this is that sort of post-war period, really, when Penguin started to go to town. They were, on the back of the Second World War, they were already a massive success. And but at the same time, they were starting to get a bit of paperback competition again, which they were very lucky, because when war came along, a lot of the Penguin imitators had to stop publishing because they didn't have any paper. But your paper allowance during the war was based on your pre-war sales. And of course, Penguin sales before the Second World War started were astonishingly high. So they had more paper than anybody else. And consequently, the other players just couldn't publish the books to keep up. So after the war, things became a bit more of a level playing field, and paper rationing, although it existed, it didn't exist everywhere. So like when Pan started out in 1945, they got their books printed in France, and then they shipped them over to the audience in the UK, where there was still a massive demand for books, you see, and that's how they got round it. And obviously things improved over time, and then Pan became, over time, Penguin's biggest competitor. And they started getting a few hits under their belt, and then it was anyone's game, wasn't it? Then we had lots and lots of competition from the post-war publishers, the serious post-war publishers. I don't mean the fly-by-nights or the mushroom jungle, as it were, the mushroom publishers. I mean, the more established people like Fontana, came along. Collins revived the Collins list, did go during the war, but it came back with a vengeance after, and then morphed into Fontana books. And then you had the early Panthers and Pan, as we've discussed already. And all of these were sort of looking to compete, Corgi as well, looking to compete with Penguin and knock them off their crown, you know. A fascinating time in paperback history, if you ask me, you know. Yeah. Now we've got approximately 5 stacks to get through today in this particular video. Because I'm off from work this entire week, I'm going to be making the most of that time, and I'm going to be filming 2 of these cleaning videos a day, because it's the only way I'm going to be able to sort of make any sort of headway on it. But it means that I'll be well ahead on this channel. But what I will try and do is, I'm not going to just do main series every single week. As much as I think these are interesting, I'm going to mix it up. So I might do 100 puffins next week, for example, and I've got a run of Buildings of England hardbacks, so there's going to be quite the old selection coming. And this is one of those ones that's it's a big double volume, which has been kept quite nice because it's been in a wrapper, but the book itself is really sort of warped, which is a shame. You'd actually have a bit of a job reading that, wouldn't you? But the wrapper itself is quite nice for these. They don't generally turn up in very nice condition because they're really thin. But this was just Penguin literally wallowing in the fact that they could have dust wrappers back again, I think, you know, after so many years of things being tight. Anyway, that's the first pile, so we'll slide that over there, straight on to the next bit. As I said, when we get to the end, we'll then do the final bit, which will be brushing them off. I've cut my fingernails, but I've kept my thumb slightly longer than the rest of them because I'm going to need it for all this tape that I need to peel off. And it is awful. I don't think, when I was young, I don't think I ever taped any of my books. I might have taped up a couple of school books, which I had to write in like quite a bit. But I never taped up any of my books that I was reading for leisure, never ever. So I'd say as a collector, Alan did supremely well with what he managed to collect over all those years. But I would say that his only error really, because they've been kept in a pretty nice environment, his only error really was putting these bits of tape on. But we'll let him off because, they've been saved and they're now off to, I'm going to be the temporary custodian of a lot of them. And I'm going to be keeping at least 1,000 books from his collection, I reckon. That's my best estimate. The rest I'll already have, but I might do a few upgrades and things like that. But generally speaking, that's a nice copy. Generally speaking, they're going to be going on to new collectors, which is always really great. actually got a name on the cover on that one. Raymond Chandler, a bit classic, isn't it? The Big Sleep. 15th of the night, 73. Honeyborn. Where's Honeyborn? Bisley. So as I said, although I'm filming these en masse this week, and so I'll have plenty of content, I'm going to try and mix it up with some of my more regular stuff as well, like the odd bagging video and some other series that I've still got to address. So I shall try and do that so that you're not just plagued with penguin videos week after week after week. We do still have the last lot of Pan to do. I think I've got 2 more Pan videos to do with the tail end of that collection. So I'll definitely get them done. Keeping that spine nice and square, like so. Not the greatest to copy, but it'll do. Two bits of tape on this one. Oscar Wilde. A tiniest slither of glue in there, I think, as well. Just starting to come away a tiny bit. And Robert Graves, a great writer, wasn't he? One of the good ones. Quite a close relationship with Penguin over the years. We published a lot of his stuff. It's looking the worse for the wear, though, isn't it, this one? Still, we'll make it as good as we can, because that's all we can do. But something like this, in this low grade, is probably only going to retail at like, well, 150 or something like that, you know, 150 to £1. I don't know. It won't be very expensive just because it's low grade, but it is a first, and as I said, some people want it. So there's a little inscription here. I hope you like this. I heard somewhere that it was good. Love from Steve. A high wind in Jamaica. Okay. Well, is it any good? I don't know. Sadly, some of this is written in pen, so it's not going to come out very well. Well, the pen isn't going to come out at all. But the rest of it in pencil will be okay. Anyway, that was a bit of a mission to clean that one up, but I think it's about as good as we're going to get now. So it's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. The Journal of a Disappointed Man. It's okay. The Mad Hatter Mystery. Now, of course, when I would do these first time round, when I first started cleaning the collection, I would do like a box of comics at a time. I wouldn't do 100 at a time. And of course, that's why these videos will end up being slightly longer than like the hour or so. They're going to end up being more like an hour and 20. But I'm sure you don't mind. Tape come off. Yeah, it's already come off there. The best is yet. Sailors, soldiers, or airman's parcel. Look at that. I thought the back cover felt a little bit thick. It's unusual, isn't it? Unfortunately, you know, collectors will regard that as a defect, sadly, and it'll have to be priced down because of it. Even though it's, you know, quite an interesting little thing to find inside a book like that. But there you go. Such is the fickle world of the collector. Another double, the Smith of Smiths. Reasonable copy of that one. overall, a little bit dusty that, but apart from that, he's all right. So got a big sticker on there, 2 and 6, JB Priestley. And I suspect, because the original owner of this collection, he was called Alan Swale, and there, I suspect, is his signature. One of the authors he collected was JB Priestley. He's got a massive, massive collection of JB Priestley first editions and hardbacks and stuff, which I think is probably going to go up to auction. I'm not exactly sure what Matt's going to do with it. The Demoriers. Very faint ninepence. You could hardly see it on the blue, but that's a pretty nice one. Thankfully, a lot of these I got really outstanding copies of, so I'm not going to need any of these myself. But I know they're going to go down well with other collectors, so that's all good. And I'm really going to be pleased to pass this collection on to fellow Penguin fans. It's just really satisfying, and it's good to know that they'll be going to a good home. Or good homes, I should say. Get another huge pile of tape again. And that was why Alan taped that bit down, because a little bit of cover was coming off. One of my favourite vintage penguins, Hiroshima. Nice copy of that. Really, really common. It came out in a print run of 250,000, so there's a few of these knocking around. It's just a very, very great book, you know. Yeah, Alan said that he, in most cases, most of the penguins he picked up literally for pennies, because people weren't really picking them up for any sort of collectible reason. He, like a lot of original penguin collectors, just picked them up because they loved the books, and that's often the best way to be when you're a collector. Now this one's heavily taped, so we'll see how we get on. Is it going to be one of those ones which comes off quite easily? Yeah, bit of a rough copy of that one, sadly, but it's okay. Yeah, pretty tidy copy of that one. Oh, another one which has got the whole spine taped up. Okay, here we go. God, it's double taped. Wow, that was something else. That. Oh, well, that's about as good as we're going to get it. Mary Fit. This one's splattered with ink by the look of it. Death of a beauty. Oh dear. Look at this state of Barnstable Hospital. It says an ex-library. Look at that. Barnstable Hospital's library. I don't think there's much we can... Look at it. Look. I don't think there's much we can do with this one. Oh my god, it's falling to bits. But I'm not going to throw it away. It's going to be... Even if someone just wants to pay £1 for it as a filler, then it will live to breathe again, won't it? But boy, oh boy. Yes, bit of a state, that one, we could say. We'll just I think someone's filled in the D and the Q with pencil. Yeah, they have. Not that it makes a massive difference when the cover's been inked on like that, but as I said, it might make it slightly more presentable for somebody who might want that for, like, as I said, like £1 or something, you know. Even if it's just as a filler. As I said, these are all first printings. Every single one that we've done has been a first Penguin print. So, you know, it does make it in the realms of being a collector's copy by it being a first, you know, even if they're not in the greatest of shape, some of them. One and six. 1 shilling and sixpence, governor. Which is how much it was when it was new. So maybe that wasn't one that's been through the second-hand system. Another Agatha. Cheltenham. Oh, slidey. Third of the second, 78, Honeyborn again. Wonder where Honeyborn is. I must have to look it up. Where, oh where is Honeyborn? Oh, this one's taped, and it's Magi tape. So we're not going to be able to get anything off that one. We're not going to, don't want to take the risk, really. I'd rather just leave it as is, because it might damage the book a bit beyond repair, which we don't want that to happen, do we? A few of these Agatha Christie's. This was the period when they published 10 all at once. They did that twice with Agatha Christie, making her an instant Penguin millionaire, because they did 1,000 books in one hit. Well, she was very, very popular. Pretty much for her entire writing career, wasn't she? Right up to the day she died. And some might say she's as popular today as maybe she ever was. You know, really, really popular author. And deservedly so. I like Agatha Christie a lot. Barbara. We haven't come across that copy yet of Coral Grange. I'm pretty sure it was in this run of 100. Maybe I was wrong. It's nice, got the map in there. But I think mine's the same, you know, it's completely faded. I think this particular one is really susceptible for the pink to be faded. Mine's exactly the same. Very, very strange, that one. Night in Gleneagle. Got some pencil on the back and the front, so let's do this stuff on the back first. I started to be taking some notes down on the back of the book, which I think is particularly cheeky, don't you think? Front's okay, and we've got the inside back cover, which is Alan's 30th of the 6th, 1973, Brampton. It's interesting how many he did get early on in the 70s. I guess nobody was collecting it then. But I think that was around the time that he himself joined the Penguin Collectors Society. There we are. Another big thick one. House in Clue Street. Tiny bit of glue in there just to finish that off. A little bit grubby, but not too bad. All right, still two more stacks to go. Last post, a Ford Maddox Ford. That's a fairly nice copy. Another one. Not as nice. Little 5p on the front. Dancers in Mourning. "666, Defy the Foul Fiend." Penguin have a little bit of fun with numbers. This is their wont, it's their way. Number of the beast. a sorry old state, this one, but that's how it goes. It's ironic that one like that, which was evidently falling to bits, didn't actually get taped. It's unreal. You don't know what's going on. There we are. Just a few corners folded over the wrong way. Bookworms for Books, Port Street in Evesham. Bookworms for Books. Don't hear that expression very often nowadays. Oh, they're a bookworm. Smith & Smith. A little bit of glue required in here. 24th of June, 72, Stroud. It's in ink. A few by Ford Maddox Ford in this 100, isn't there? Big thick D8 Lawrence. Lovely. Another Agatha. It's a little bit wavy, this one. I think it'll be alright once it's been pushed down with other books. I think it was the way it's been packed and then stored. Same with this one, actually. It's a classic, one of my favourite Christie books. It's got a tiny bit of glue required, I think. There we are. Right then, so Blimey O'Reilly. This one appears to have lots and lots of, it looks like it's got a full review inside. But this is our last pile for this 100. Then we'll give them all the final brush down. Look at this. Grossly overwritten. The word strange is used 51 times. Wonderful, 41. Curious, 40. Horrible, 35. Hideous, 22. Monstrous, 20. Its melodrama is clownish. Wow. I'm not going to touch that. That's so well, so much of interest. I think that'll probably be best to be kept in there. The next owner might be really interested in that one, so I shall leave that there. I think that's sometimes things like that are part of their history, you know, and I shall leave that copy as is, even though in my opinion it's a detraction from its original form in that particular case, and it's quite neat writing as well. So we'll let it off this once. But yeah, we are approaching the last 20 or so books now. So we'll get these done and then give them a bit of a brush. And then I'm going to take a break, get the phone recharged, the camera, have a spot of lunch, and then I'm going to be back this afternoon to do another 100, because I have a lot to get through, and I don't want to hang around. So I'm going to do another 100 main series, and I think I'm going to mix it up with something a bit different, maybe do 100 puffin or something else. Who knows? Who knows? But I'd like to get this 500 to 1,000 licked ASAP. That's absolutely fine. Oh, a couple of crossword books. Now this one doesn't look too bad actually. Compared to most, that one's actually alright. Some of the ones we've seen have been pretty awful, haven't they? Lovely. Another one here. This one's a little bit rougher. Yeah, almost complete. Looks like every puzzle's been done in this one. So someone was evidently really good at crosswords. I'm not great, I'm afraid to say. I'm alright on subjects that I know, but just general knowledge crosswords I do find tricky. Speaking of crosswords, is the Crossword Mystery a crime title? Can't get into the first page. There we are. Just a little 5p on the top. Just some cover writing on this one. Naughtily in pencil, which has my, at least it's better than pen, so we can at least address it. But I suppose it was much more, of course these covers aren't shiny, so I guess it was much more common back then to just pop a little message or change the price or something, because these weren't glossy covers. It was easy to write on them, wasn't it, you know? lamination hadn't really become a thing when these books were printed in the post-war era, like this about 1948, something like that. I think this one is. Let's have a little look. Yeah, 1948. Tape on this Agatha Christie here. There we are. Someone's done some sums on the back cover. Oh, I must do my maths on the back of this Agatha Christie. What is it with people, eh? What is it? What were they thinking? Think of poor Agatha here. Defaming her. This is another one which has unfortunately got stored slightly badly in the box, and like some of the other Agathas, it's got a bit of a ripple, but it'll sort itself out over time. It just needs lying flat with some weights on it. See, well, this one looking a bit on the rough side, isn't it? It's been through the wars a little bit, this one, although it hasn't actually. It was published post-war, but you know what I mean. It's had a bit of a beating. Yeah. Yes, a bit of a beaten up copy of that one, and there's no two ways around it. But because it's Agatha, someone will definitely want that. Thankfully, I've got really nice copies of all of these pretty much, so I certainly won't be wanting it, but somebody definitely will. Because there's not that many Agatha Christie's in Penguin, is there? There's maybe about, if you wanted them all, there's only about 25, 26, I think. Which is obtainable, isn't it? Anyone could do that. Although number 6 is the expensive one, so this was double taped by the look of it. Double tape, wow. Yeah, so one piece of tape just wasn't enough, so we needed to double it up. Okay, that's all right. That's the tape, but it's Magi tape at the bottom, so we'll have to leave that. To Mummy with love from Anne. Not anymore, Anne. Mummy's let this one go. So again, a bit of a rough copy, that one, to be honest, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, the last little part coming up now. Aftermath. Post Second World War, 22p in this one. And a sixpence to boot. And then 9p on top. Cool, it's got 3 prices, so this is theoretically changed hands 3 times. Yet it's still in remarkably nice condition, so that just goes how it is, isn't it? Life Class, Ludwig. Oh, Ludwig. Take off that sixpence off the front. There we are. Picture of Dorian Gray. There's a bit of a famous novel. Not one I've ever read, but I enjoyed the movie. That wasn't it Daniel Radcliffe was in that? Yeah, I've not read this particular one. Very, very foxed copy, and also looks water damaged. So although it's a classic, it's not one that's going to go for any great shakes money-wise. Just £1 or so, I reckon. £1.50. Penguin Island. I feel like I'm on Penguin Island at the moment. Not really Penguin Island. I'm surrounded by penguins. I could be like at Penguin Zoo, couldn't I? Dew on the Grass. Just needs a bit of re-gluing. Nice copy of this one. The ship. Really enjoy C.S. Forester. He's one of my favourite authors. Obviously for the Hornblower. Very, very prolific. He didn't just write his Hornblower books, he wrote some crime as well, and historical novels. A few marks inside to get out. Oops, creasing it there. Try not to do that. Really, really thin pages. Got a name inside there, PJ Cousins. Managed to write it in ink and then get the ink on the back cover. Spalling an otherwise really nice copy of that one, but there you go. of those big thick ones in a dust wrapper. 5p, that was what Alan paid by the looks of it. In Barnstable, probably in the pannier market. Okay, 5 to go. This particular 100. Play, the first play we've had today, isn't it? It's completely detached, this one, but easily fixed. Now I don't put the glue right up to the edge because it squishes up that way, so you don't need to. Lovely. J. Morpurgo. This is that's Michael Morpurgo's dad, the author Michael Morpurgo of Warhorse fame, very closely associated with Penguin Books. And the last one, before we get brushing, is this one, Siegfried Sassoon. Oh, this is another one that come off completely. Look at that. Weird that we've had 2 complete spine removals almost back to back. But that's how it goes. Right. There we are. Get it even and then squidge them on in like that. Get it looking nice and flat as best we can. And then we're in. Lovely. Right, that's everything from this particular 100 internally cleaned as good as we can. Our next step is to give them all a brush. Right then, last stage is to give these all the dust off. And then I am taking a well-earned break, just letting you know. Oh. A couple more stacks to go. So, as we finish this little lot off, I hope you've enjoyed today's cleaning video. Many, many more to come now, since this collection has come my way. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you've extra enjoyed it. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button for regular cleaning content, because we have an awful lot to be getting on with. I mean, we have loads. So if you like this sort of stuff, then you will be well served over the next few months, that I can guarantee. That said, if you'd like to know the story behind this collection, do check out the video over on my other channel, where I explain my greatest haul ever. But thank you very much for watching today, and I shall see you again very soon with another video. Bye.